Hey, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? I am Ayanna Castro, founder and chief maven of Work Your Package. And thank you so much for joining me again for another episode of Maven Conversations. I am super excited about today. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because the women that will join me a little bit, they are uh of the same vein. They are hybrid entrepreneurs. They are women who rock it out in the corporate space, have been doing it in the corporate space, but are also creative entrepreneurs. And they have a business that requires them to stay and remain creative and forward thinking and thinking out of the box and serving their clients in a way that keeps them coming back for more. I can tell you right now, I am enjoying all three of their businesses right now. I am wearing earrings by one, I am scented by another, and my home smells absolutely delicious because of another. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring on my three absolutely fantastic hybrid entrepreneurial mavens. First up, we have Miss Akesha Scott, who is the owner of Be Vivid.
Hello, everyone.
We have the fantastic and the fabulous Myaa Vu, who is the extraordinary owner of Mermaid Noire. That's why my house smells so lovely. Oh, and I need
Hello.
to mention Akeisha's responsible for these earrings. Get into it. And then last but certainly not least, we have Miss LaTonya Ward, who, because of her, my skin has been hydrated and beautiful and glowing. You see, I'm glowing here because of her body products. So, ladies, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me this evening.
Thanks for
I,
having me.
in typical fashion, I'm not reading anybody's bio, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because I believe that people can tell their own story better than anybody else. So I'm just going to ask a simple question, and I'll start with Akeisha.
The
Tell
pressure.
us, tell us, who is Akeisha Scott?
Hi, I am Akesha. I am the owner of Be Vivid Creations. I create mostly one of a kind accessories, jewelry, earrings, bracelets, and dare to be, dare to be different, be vivid. So I enjoy what I do. I try to make accessories that will have you stand out, whether you have on all black or if you have on colors. My jewelry will just give that extra piece of oomph that you need.
And in your professional life, what do you do?
I am a graphic designer, so I create anything from logos. I've done quite a few websites, marketing materials, brochures. I'm creating all day. So whether it's at a computer or using my hands.
Thank you very much. And I'm going to go to Miss Latanya.
Hello, everyone. My name is LaTonya Ward. I am the founder, owner, CEO of Sugarfoot Company. Um, I am the mom of a 15-year-old. In addition to all of these things, I'm also an advocate for autism and disability um, rights. I work for the Department of Justice. And I don't know. I've worn so many hats. It's just really hard to quantify and just give you one particular thing about me. I'm just creative at heart. I've been involved in crafts and doing things with my hands since I was a child. So from ceramics to macrame to um, making t-shirts, doing blinged out things as a teenager. I'm also a licensed nail technician. I am no longer practicing, but I still keep my my nail license up. So I've worn several hats. So this creative spirit is just ingrained. Yeah.
Thank you kindly. Thank you. And you mentioned what you did professionally, right?
Yeah, I'm a budget analyst by day. So I crunch numbers, read boring policy, follow Congress, follow the money. you know, all that good old stuff. So I work for the people's money. You know, I work for the people.
And last but certainly not least, Miss Myaa.
Hello, hello. I am the owner and chandler of Mermaid Noire, which is hand poured candles. I've been doing that for about a year. And professionally, other than that, I am a training consultant. So by day, I'm teaching folks how to use different systems. And then when I'm not doing that, I'm making candles with my hands. Oh, sorry for that noise. But yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. So, again, one of the reasons why, again, just to let everybody know, one of the reasons why I asked these three particular ladies to join me for this conversation is because they have what I call the hybrid entrepreneur spirit and mentality. They rock it out during the day, um, corporate, and then afterwards they have their business, which is all creative. So you've heard Keisha makes jewelry, Tanya makes luxury body um, products, and Myaa makes candles, which, like I said, I am enjoying all three right now. One of the other things that really drew me to these three women is because of their diversity of their professional background and the diversity of their business. It all came down to the fact that it's all creative. So they have to stay in the mindset of being creative. So one of the things that I want to ask, and I'm going to ask a bunch of different questions, and I may not ask them in the order that I provided. I tried to give my guest questions in advance so they'll be prepared. I may not ask them in order. That's just the way I do. That's just what I do. Um, but because we are hybrid entrepreneurs, I am a hybrid entrepreneur. I've been saying it for a while. Um, in my professional space, I am an employee engagement enthusiast, is how I like to describe myself. That's not my official title, but I am an employee engagement enthusiast. The official title is employee engagement program manager. But it also bleeds into what I do as a Maven and for Work Your Package. It is still circled and centric around making sure that other people's lives are better, making sure that their experience is better, getting the best for them and showing them that there is a better way. But I will have to admit that there are times where even in acting in the gifts that, that I have, there are times where I just want to throw in both cell phones, both laptops, and every other device like off the ledge of my deck because I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. I'm over it. So the first question I want to ask, because I don't want anybody to think that this is a cakewalk. And I've often said that, like, none of this is a cakewalk. None of it is easy. Um, have have you ever been so discouraged that you just wanted to quit? Anybody feel free to answer the question.
Oh yeah, I'll give you. Let me just chime in on that. I started Sugarfoot in 2009. It's now 2022. So in that time span, I have quit. Well, I put it to the side. I don't want to say I've quit. I had to put it, either had to put it to the side or I put it to the side just because my mind wasn't there. Life was happening, whatever was going on, I just couldn't focus on my business. And I started it up, and then stuff was happening, externally. Maybe work was getting, taken over where I was climbing professionally. So I just had to focus there. So all my energy went to my career, and then, home life, dealing with my son who's on the autism spectrum. So there are a lot of things going on in that journey that just took away from focusing on my business. So all my creativity, all that energy went elsewhere. But I never let go of what I love doing, which was being creative. I told you I had these other things going on, but something about that love of formulating, smelling things, putting things together. I also like to cook. So it's a cooking, and cooking relaxes me. It's a satisfying feeling, like after I'm done putting these ingredients together as a finished product. So I always held on to that love. And when opportunities presented itself to go back, I would have a couple of customers who would ask for body butter here and there, and I would fulfill it. So I still had my finger in what I loved, even though I wasn't doing it full time. And then when the pandemic hit, it was like, well, we all at home. You might as well. It's perfect opportunity. And, and I was afraid to do it because I was like, I hadn't really created like that in bulk, in mass, in a long time. I had to reactivate, like I had to almost restart my whole business over. I had a lot of stuff in place. The name, it was all registered. All of that stuff that you're supposed to do as a business owner was there. But I had to literally start over and stuff that, like, even from the state stuff, like, hey, we don't even have your name. It was suspended or whatever because it had lapsed. Again, like I said, life had happened. I forgot all about, oh, I thought it was, no, you didn't pay the fee or whatever. So I had to restart everything from scratch, get everything put back in place, and then get over the fact of hitting a button. I think, Akesha, we were talking about, the content thing. I'm not a good poster. I don't think I'm a great poster. I'm getting better because I'm doing it more often. But that whole thing is like, oh my God, I got a brand, I don't want my stuff to look homemade, all of those things. So yeah, there were times where it's like, I don't have time for this. I'm not built for this. But really, it's like, yes, you are. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So that's my story.
I definitely, I mean, so often, and my story is actually very similar to yours, LaTonya. I started actually in 2008, but I started purely as a freelance graphic designer. And then I went to knitting, which I still knit sometimes. And then I started with the jewelry. And I guess the biggest thing with me, I'll get to a point where I realize it's just me. Like if I don't do it, then it's not going to get done. And I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it right now. I don't want to do it tomorrow. I don't want to do it next week. But similar to what you were saying, I'll get a customer who will just like, oh, I met you at a craft show. Can you make this for my upcoming event? Or I'll go out, which is always is very humbling, but I'll be out and someone will like, oh, aren't you the earring lady? And aren't you and so, hey, Be Vivid. They don't know my name. They just know me as Be Vivid. And it's like those customers bring you back to life and you realize like, okay, somebody is appreciating me and, and this is, because I do have fun doing it. Especially when I get to do my vending opportunities, I'm having a good time meeting people, seeing people being excited about, oh, I've never seen anything like this before, or I got the perfect outfit for this, or, so the customers really help keep me, motivated. But yeah, every time I was like, oh, wow, if I don't do this show, nobody else is going to do it. If I don't make this, nobody else is going to do it. And that, that's when I'm all like, I'm ready to quit, but I don't. So I'm addicted to it.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I think it's there's some days when you're really tired and you don't want to do anything whatsoever, and then you realize like I still enjoy doing this. I still have fun with this. I still have fun doing the markets, and I'm still relatively young in having this side career. So I feel like I'm not allowed to be sick of it yet, even if I am.
Yes, you are.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Because it's part of the process.
It
You're
is.
going to get sick of.
Yeah.
Especially if it's just you doing everything.
That part. We were just talking about that. Like maybe we talked about getting a virtual assistant or getting, but when you are accustomed to doing things yourself, right? And you want things done a certain way, there's a certain level of trust that you have to have in the people that you need to hire. in order for you to free up some space for you to do some things. I am, in my opinion, I am my best assistant because even though my professional career started off as being a social worker, I went back to being an admin because it was easy. So there's a lot of things that I know that I could do myself because I've done it for other people. But honest to goodness, I only have 168 hours in a week. Like honestly, like that's it, and that's all. That's all you get from Sunday to Saturday at 11:59 p.m. You only get 168 hours. So in talking about, do you find yourself worrying about spreading yourself too thin, and what do you do to balance that career? Because the career, in my mind, sometimes it acts as is the angel fund. That's the dream funder. That's the investor, the angel investor. They don't even know it, but they're the angel investor. And your personal life and your business, is there such a thing as a balance, or is it all just integrated? And how do you manage that? How do you manage it and not lose yourself in the midst of it?
Okay,
Well,
go ahead.
Well, for
Go
me,
ahead,
I'm blessed. I am blessed that my full-time job is still a creative job. Even though, of course, I have more restrictions for my full-time job, um, I can still have those thoughts. I can still, work on my colors. I can still, do things that I can, integrate into my business. And besides that, like we said before, it's just something that has to be done. It gets to a point where I don't have a choice. I have to go to work, and I like doing my business. So, it's kind of like my college motto, which I have adopted and adapted to, is I'll find a way or make one. And so that's what I do without even thinking about it, without even planning. It's like, okay, well, there isn't time to complain because the complaints that don't help with the solution. So it's just about finding that solution and making sure it just gets done. And so far so good.
Yeah, I would
LaTonya, you was
piggyback
gonna
on
say?
what you just said. For me, so I don't have a creative outlet per se at work. It's it's very dry, um, and boring, and but I love it. So there's that. I think what keeps me going is I think I just have a hustle mentality. I think it's just the drive that there are things that I want. And like you said, if you don't do them, who else is going to do it? Nobody else is going to do it but you. So that's what keeps me going. And if there's things that I want, certain things that I have manifested, I'm seeing now. So that's a drive for me to keep going. Things I manifested 12 years ago when I first started this business, I'm seeing 10 times fold now. So it's like, okay, let's dream bigger and go for that. Change habits so you can get there. I'm reading Atomic Habits, not reading, I'm listening to it because I can't sit still long enough to read anything anymore. So I started, adding things to kind of help me along with where I want to go and to keep me motivated when I get tired. And then as far as that whole, man, let me tell you, my house look crazy right now. I got several several orders going at the same time. Like I have to move stuff so my child can eat. He be like, "Mommy, you gonna move this?" Like he be on me, like, "Mommy, I need somewhere." It's stuff everywhere all the time, and it bothers me because I'm not necessarily a neat Nick, but I like some kind of order. It's chaos, organized chaos everywhere in every room. So it's just a matter of, okay, do we have clean drawers? Do we have clean, linen? Is there food in there? We got the home chef going. You know what I'm saying? Do we got a meal or something happening in here? Bruh man can cook and clean, do his laundry and stuff like that. So there are things that are happening in the house that, you know, keep us going with the balance. And then there are times, like you said, I just don't feel like doing this. You know, with creatives, we have to kind of go on when our energy is there. You know what I mean? Like if that creative energy ain't flowing, you can't do it. It's just not going to turn out right. So when my energy is not there, that focus isn't there, I don't make body butter because it's gonna be a bad batch. I'm gonna tell you that right now. That joker gonna be messed up. I'm gonna be mad. I done messed up not quite messed it up, but it ain't gonna be a good batch. So it might be a day or two, you know, and then I'll focus on maybe some other part of the business to keep the balance going. You know, maybe I can't do that one day. We'll do something else or not do anything at all. And that's fine too, because you need to, you know, relax your mind.
Yeah, I agree. And I think saying no is often something that you have to learn how to do. You can't do every show. You can't do every event, like all of these things where you just have to know yourself and your schedule. And I'm a big old introvert. So I don't want to be going to everything. I don't want to do something every week. So knowing when to say no, that's very helpful for me, and just having a life outside of the career and family and side hustle, sorority, all these other things. You just have to know when to say no and step back.
So to piggyback off of that, what's the most creative excuse you've used to get out of something you didn't want to do?
Oh, I just say I don't want to go.
Yeah, I'm
Oh
about to
yeah,
Say, those who know me know I just don't want to go.
yeah.
I'm unavailable.
I have never had a problem with saying no.
True
Never.
introvert. True introvert.
Ooh, but wait a minute. There was one I kind of caved to, but I'm kind of glad I did it. So I had it was a virtual show, and a soror asked me to do something to help their chapter on that same day, and I was like, man, I got too much stuff going on. And I tried, oh my God, I tried to get out of it. Was like, you know, I have this, and it wasn't a firm no. So I'm gonna learn for y'all introverts who just be like, no, I can't do it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, because when I pulled this, I was like, this is an interesting question. But then I thought about it. I was like, three of us on this call right here, introverts. Like,
So
the
I think
answer's no.
I don't want to say I'm an extrovert per se. It depends. Like I like my solitude, and I'm learning to say no. I can't. I'm not available. So I've learned to do that. I think dealing with the sorority stuff, having so many hats and so many different responsibilities in addition to work and all of this stuff, it just gets to be too much. Y'all got to just a clear, just like, I can't do that. No, no. And it's
And
a complete sentence.
I'm like, it's too early. I can't commit to that yet. So
Now, see, I haven't gotten to that part where I'm into my calendar. I'll be months out and be like, okay, let me see if I can, but with a boundary. So I'm learning, okay, like Maya said, you can't go to everything. So I know that about myself. Like, okay, if you already doing one event, don't commit to a bunch of other things. Do that one big event and maybe a smaller one that doesn't require a lot of energy. It's going to be so taxing that you're so tired you don't have no, you know, time for yourself.
So when you think about energy and time for yourself, what is your favorite way to practice self-care? And I know a lot of people in their brain, they have this image of self-care as, or you go to the spa, or you get your nails done, or you're going to get, you know, mani-pedi, whatever it is. But self-care honestly comes in a lot of different forms that people just really don't really think about. Like, I can share my version. My version of self-care is going off grid, off, you know, just out, gone, and I'm someplace else preferably with room service, for about 48, 72 hours. That is my version of self-care. I just unplug and I just go someplace. Sometimes I have a book, sometimes it's my laptop, sometimes it's my adult coloring book with some markers, but that is how I practice my self-care, because I know that because I am in a position where I'm constantly giving of myself, sometimes I'm depleted, and I can't be the best Ayanna if I am depleted. So and like I said, everybody's self-care looks different, right? So I'm curious, what is your version of self-care? What gets you centered and back to yourself? Maya, you can go first.
I mean, baking and cooking are some things that kind of clear out and still creative because I love to eat. Um, I now that it's warmer, sitting out on my deck and just not doing anything, especially like at night, putting the kid to bed, and then sometimes I'll just sit out there for a half hour. You may hear him in the background, but I may just sit out there for a half hour and do nothing. I may just watch my iPad and watch some terrible show on Netflix and just feel good about it. But like sitting around being alone, if my husband takes the kid somewhere, just be in the house and nobody talk to me. Like those are the nice moments. Listening to books, doing book club. I am also a homebody at being an introvert, so I like being home. So I like if my family leaves and it's just me by myself. So those are the kinds of things I like to do to recharge.
What about you, Keisha?
It's very similar. Like I can literally sit in silence, and I do it quite often without even realizing that it's happening. But I no TV, I'm not talking, and I will sit in silence. That's more routine, but as you know, I like to travel, and I don't feel it's even weird right now. I don't have a trip planned until November, and I am going stir crazy. Like I need to get on somebody's plane and go somewhere where I don't have the choice. Like, because if it's in front of me to make something, then I'm going to make something. So, I need to be out of my surroundings so that I don't have a choice but to release whatever could be happening, at home. So, travel and just silence, definitely.
I do love the silence.
Hmm.
I do love this. Even being in a hotel room, I took I call it my quarterly sabbatical, and I don't think I turned the TV on the entire time I was there.
Yeah.
I don't think I turned it on. Like my goal was to sit out on the balcony. That's the bonus. Like if it has a balcony and it's near water, that's the bonus. Like that to me, if I can be near a body of water, that is so restorative for me. But just that, you're right, it's just the silence of it all. And again, maybe it's because of what I do professionally and what my business is. It requires me to talk, it requires me to engage and be involved and really be empathetic and listen. So when I can just sit and just be,
Hmm.
that is just amazing. That it feels good to just do that. What about you, LaTonya?
So I think I have a combination of all the things that you all said. Um, I Working out is my self care. Um, yeah, that was my therapy for even before the pandemic. So I'm getting back to that. I hurt myself last year, so I'm trying to get back to that and you know um, honor what I started. And as far as making sure I had a healthy body and taking care of my insides, eating right, eating clean, drinking enough water. So I think that part, nutrition and you know movement, is my self care. I also like to unwind with wine, sometimes too often, but but I do like to have a nice glass of wine at the end of a especially if it's been a stressful day. And I like to just kind of lose myself with Pinterest. I didn't realize how much I enjoy just create. I think I have about 10,000 pins just ideas and things like that, I would just sit there and just, lose hours, just, different things. I like to visualize things. So that is part of my self-care, motivational visualizing what can become, business, personal, professional, all different types of things. So I think Pinterest, wine, working out, Yep.
I've often called Pinterest the devil
Oh, it
because
is.
it'll have you thinking that you can redo your entire house in
How
a
do you
weekend.
think that backyard happened, ma'am? Ma'am,
It'll have you thinking you can
ma'am.
redo your whole backyard, basement, redo your kitchen, revamp your wardrobe, cook all the things, grow
All the
all the
things.
plants. Pinterest is very much responsible for the urban garden I have growing on my deck. Like I barely have space I still got space to sit on my deck at my table on my deck, but I have so many things growing because of a piqued interest from something that I saw on Pinterest. Like it literally just started with Italian herbs. Like, how do you grow Italian herbs? And that's where it started. So I went and got my little herbs or whatever. And I was like, oh, I could just do this. Now, Pinterest now, yeah, I think I probably have close to 10,000 pins. It's ridiculous how many pins that I have. And it's a lot of, when I think about it, it's around food, the home, outdoor living, and just DIY crafty stuff. Like that is pretty much where it focuses around. That's pretty much my focus. And I find also that because of my business and what I do, I'm also drawn to that type of content as well. Um, I've, I don't know if anybody else has ever received the question, but I'm going to ask it because I'm just curious. What inspired you to start your business? Because I know what inspired me, but we ain't talking about me today. We talking about y'all. What inspired you to start your business?
Miles.
Anybody can start.
Miles.
Your son.
My son.
Mm-hmm.
He inspired me. He was born with eczema. And I know there are lots of people with similar stories, but Miles was my reason for starting this business. I wanted to find something to for maintenance. It wasn't going to cure, it's just, without getting too scientific, it wasn't going to cure it, but something to maintain his skin. He was like 3 when it's getting really bad. And they give the prescription strength steroid creams. Well, that's over time will break down the skin and thin it out. And I'm like, I don't want to put this, or maybe he was even 2. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to put this on my baby's skin. He little. Let's find something natural to maintenance it. I know we have to use it. Maybe we can cut it with some butter or something. So I found a recipe. I, experimented and scented it. And I, at the time, was still keeping his baby food jars and it sanitized them and everything. So I made this concoction, put it in the baby food jar, and I took it to work. And I was like, hey, I asked my coworker, hey, smell this. What do you think? And she smelled it and she was like, oh, how much is this? And I said, oh, okay. And then it started from there and grew. Yep.
What about you, Akesha?
Because I'm cheap and I was not satisfied with anything else that I saw. So it was like, wait, you want me to pay $50 for this bracelet? Like, I know I can make this myself. I know I can. And yep, and the same thing is like, so I started making it myself. And I always tell anyone, like, as soon as someone else says, oh, can you make me one? You got a business. And and that's what happened. It was like, oh, Akesha, I like that. Can you make me one? Oh, sure, for this amount of money I can. And but that's how it started. Just going to Claire's and everything looked the same, or going, even Macy's, or wherever you would go and buy accessories. everything looked the same, and it was so expensive, and it looked so simple, and it was just like, I can do this myself, and I can do it better. And so yeah.
What did you say? I'll find a way or make one.
Exactly. Exactly.
There's the
Exactly.
motto. I'll find a way
Yeah.
or make one. I had to write that one down.
Yeah, I love it.
What about you, Maya?
Um, Let me see. Right before the pandemic, I took a candle making class and said to my friend that I went with, I was like, I should just quit my job and do this. Like, this would be great. I could just see myself doing this. It's working with my hands. I choose when I talk to people. So I was like, let's make some for Christmas. And then it quickly turned into, oh, well, I guess if I could make these for Christmas presents and they go well, I could start making these as a side business to be creative and to be fun. And I burn my own candles. So it just kind of morphed from there.
Mhm.
That makes a whole lot of sense. So, what advice would you have? What advice would you give to another woman or anyone, honestly? But I talk to the heart of women. What advice would you give to women who are interested in starting their own business, but they're still working full time? Like, I can't, in full honesty and transparency, regardless of how many people say, oh, you should go ahead and go out there on your own and be a consultant and do what you do for your company, for multiple companies on your own. That sounds all fine and good. I'm not ready yet. I'm not there yet. um so I do what I do, and I'm just thankful that it's an extension of what I do for my professional side. But what advice would you give to women who are looking to start their own business and still want to work full time?
I always say you have to try. I'm not um I'm not afraid of failing. And maybe it's because I do have that crutch, but I haven't always had the crutch. When I did freelance graphic design, it was full-time freelancing. But just because you don't succeed in one business doesn't mean there isn't another business that's around the corner from you. Um, and it never hurts to try. You know, how I started making jewelry is not the same way I'm doing it now, and you just have to be prepared to evolve regardless. And that's with anything you do, with your professional career, with your business career. Nothing, change is inevitable. So even if it doesn't work when you first start, you take those lessons and you just keep working it and figuring it out. And if you, and like you said, if you're ready and if it makes you happy, because that's a huge thing for me. I don't do anything that doesn't bring me joy. And so if it's not going to make you happy, then you stop. But you have to try. If it's really in your soul to do it and to try, then try. And if it fails, try it again or try something different. Or it's your life. You can't live your life with regrets.
I
What
think
about you?
oh, sorry.
No,
No,
go
go ahead.
ahead. Go ahead, whoever's next.
Oh, I was going to say, have the support of the people who you live with, regardless if that's roommates, a family, anybody. Make sure that they understand what the time commitment looks like. They understand their part in it, if there is a part for them, and making sure you have like really good and clear communication about when things are due. If I have a market, I have to make sure my husband's not coaching. So we both have extracurricular jobs and things on the side. So making sure that someone's there with our kid, or if the kid comes with us, and making sure that they support what you're doing, because if you don't have their support, it makes it so much harder to fit that into your schedule, or to have them fit that into your schedule.
That's important because I don't have any of that. It's me, and me plus a 15-year-old when he feel like it. So I would I would say that's great advice. And matter of fact, I got some nuggets myself from both of you guys. So and I've been in the hybrid game for about 12 years, so 13. Um, I would say do it afraid. Don't be afraid. Like Akesha said, don't be afraid to fail, but just do. If it's something that you really want to do, get out there and try it. If you're afraid, take a step, then take another step and keep going until you see what happens. And I would have to say, I think I have had small failures. Maybe they're in my mind, they were small failures with Sugarfoot. Maybe something didn't sell as well as I wanted it to, or my sales weren't coming in as fast as I would have liked, or I didn't yield the amount of money that I had projected. In my mind, maybe that was a failure at the time, but I didn't stop. So I would say keep doing it, even if you're afraid. Write down when things didn't go well, and then look and see what could I have done better, to improve that, to improve the results. Are there processes that I need to look at that's not really working out? Um, you know, like you said, Maya, if you have a support system, lean on them. So I do lean on some of my sorority sisters, some good friends in my circle. Miles is a little older now, so when it comes to vending, I don't really have to worry about leaving him at home by himself because he's a teenager. He's at that age where he can kind of take care of himself, and we have an understanding. I still have to communicate what's going on, but I'm blessed that he's at an age that he's independent. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I would say the other thing is write down what it is you really want to do, and start your vision journal. Not just a board, but a journal. Get a journal and write it out. That's what I was doing all of that time with Sugarfoot. Sometimes it was on a little sticky note. Sometimes it was on little pieces of paper. And I found these notes years later about stuff that I wrote down that, like, oh my God, it's happening now. So write down, manifest what it is you want to do and review it, you know, and then believe in yourself. Believe that you can do what it is you want to do, because others, that's going to make it hard. You're going to have some folks that going to question, going to doubt, but if you believe in yourself, that's what you want to do, and you like, I'm going to just do it anyway, do it afraid, and if it look janky or whatever, I did it. So
That's true, because your vision is not a conference call.
no.
Your vision is not a conference call. Honest to goodness, that is a one-on-one type of conversation. And again, I think sometimes what holds people back from making that first step is a fear of failure.
Yeah.
And whatever shame comes behind that failure, as opposed to looking at that failure as an opportunity to learn a lesson that they can pass on to somebody else.
Yeah.
So, in terms of me, I can tell you, do not try to take on and be all things to everybody at the same time. Like, you just can't. Some things have to develop organically. When I think about the journey from where I started to where I am right now, I shared it on my I think I shared it on my Facebook page. Yesterday marked the anniversary, or the day before yesterday marked the 8th anniversary from when I hosted my very first conference. And during that whole time, I was a nervous Nelly. It was my first conference. I had attended plenty, but it was the first one that I was hosting and having a speaker panel come in. And I was also launching my first book. And it was absolutely nerve-wracking. Now, since then, I've hosted, 4 more conferences and have spoken at umpteen different conferences and symposiums and expos, and, traveled internationally to speak and all this other stuff. But in that moment, all I kept saying was, thank you, Lord, for a successful conference. And, what's next? What do I do next? And having the ability to be confident in what you already know that you know, because once you know what you know, can't nobody take it from you. but our confidence gets shaken sometimes with the exterior voices, the external voices, the people that, well, what if, and what if that happened? And the what if conversations annoy me if it's not a yes and conversation. I need a yes and, not a what if.
Mm-hmm.
If I tell you, I'm thinking about doing, Maven Conversations where I'm going to be talking to all these fabulous women, I need you to hit me with a yes. And did you think about making sure that you post the audio version of this on your website? Not a, well, what if nobody watches? I don't need that. I don't want to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why sometimes your vision has to be, it's singular. It can't be a conference call. I'm blessed and fortunate to have people that surround me, and people have heard me say it all the time about having a personal board of directors, people that surround you, that their sole purpose in life is to make sure that you do not settle for anything mediocre. They keep their foot placed firmly on your neck and in your backside, and they push you. They get on your nerves. They aggravate you. They do. You want to cuss them out. You want to throw them out your house sometimes, because those are the people that love you. But they do it because they have gotten a glimpse of the greatness that you're about to bring forth, and you sitting up there pussyfooting. So you need people like that around you that's like, we're not tolerating that type of conversation today. No, ma'am, we're not doing that today. I'm gonna need you to get, are we done? Are we done with the self-pity? Are we done? Yes. Okay, great. Let's move on. Like next. You need people like that in your life. You need people to remind you, what's coming up next, and got to get excited. Wendy just said, when it gets hard, remember your why. Thank you, Wendy. Like, you have to remember the why behind the whole thing. You have to remember those things that you put down in your vision journal, the notes that you wrote to yourself. One of the things that I talk about often is when I turned 40, I had a long conversation with God. And my conversations with God probably would, sometimes I start off talking to God like, look at here, let me holler at you for a second, God. Like, I don't know where you want me to go. I have no idea what direction you're taking me in, but I'm tired of fighting you because you keep putting me in the same predicament over and over again. So clearly I'm missing the lesson. So wherever it is you want me to go, I'll go. Fine, whatever. And honestly, when I opened up my mouth and said that, opportunities came to me that I had not thought about. But it was about being obedient to the opportunities that came. But when I think about it in retrospect, I had thought about it. You know what I mean? Like, so I know that there's somebody out there right now thinking about a business that they want to start. There's something that they love doing. They're passionate about doing. It's the thing that people come to you on a regular basis and ask you to do. It's something that you would do without an invoice attached to it. But guess what? You should be getting paid, because if it's easy for you, you should be charging double. Okay? If it's easy for you, that's your gift, and you should be charging double. I don't know who I'm talking to, but I need you to understand that for real. Because I think that we, as women, we kind of like give it away. We just never like, oh, well, I can do it. So I'll just go ahead and I'll do it. No, just, what'd you say, Akesha? If somebody say, can you, as soon as somebody asks you, can you do it for them? That's a business. And say, yes, I can, but it's going to cost you X.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's the price.
Yeah.
That's the price. That's it. And that's all. You know what I mean? So I know we talked about a whole bunch of stuff. I want to get to these three last questions because I love these three questions I'm interested in here, because I'm looking at the time and I want to make sure we get these in. So, what is the main thing on your bucket list? Now, it could be personally, professionally, your business. What's the one main thing on your bucket list?
Oh, I know. I want to be a millionaire. That's it. Because then the rest of the bucket list gonna follow after I get that. I mean, yeah.
Works for me.
I mean,
I think I've said to myself before, because I've always wanted to know, like, what do I want from this business? What is my goal? And I think I want certain, and I'm not a celebrity type of person, but I want certain celebrities to eventually reach out to me, and I want to start curating certain pieces for people. So I really think that's a goal of mine. But me and the whole growth thing, I'm still figuring it out. But yeah. So as far as a professional, well, as far as my entrepreneur bucket list, that's there. Everything else is more travel. I want to go everywhere.
Yeah,
So.
listen, I love that. I can't wait till I get these kids out my house. I can't wait. I I can't wait. I
Mhm.
love them, but I can't wait.
I'm
Cannot
looking
wait.
for. I'm looking
What about you, Maya?
to that DM from Erica Badu.
That would be wonderful.
Listen, let me tell you something. And I'm gonna be clear, and I'm not by no means am I sitting here talking about I'm famous. But when I tell you I have every intention on every single time I got to be somewhere, like in November, I'm gonna be out in California somewhere. I already got my eyeballs on the type of fit that I want to wear for these people out in California. Oh, trust and believe, some Be Vivid's coming with me because it just has to. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mine.
Appreciate it.
Just kind of hit a bucket list, which was being in a store. So and my small child. So I'm part of an organization called The Third, which is for women of color entrepreneurs in Howard County. And so they have this system where you apply to be in Busboys and Poets in Columbia.
Oh,
And
cool.
so my candles are going to be there for the next 3 months. And that is huge. Like I hadn't really thought much past that. So I'm trying to now just figure out more things on my bucket list because that was just something I never thought that would happen. So maybe being in like a small boutique permanently, something like that. And then my other goals are traveling, taking him all over the world, and hopefully having a vacation rental I own one day in another country. Somewhere with
Congrats.
water. Thank you. And I just sold out, so I have to get them
Awesome.
25 more this week. So I'm very excited.
Awesome. That is fantastic. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Round of applause. Round of applause. Okay. So, what is the best thing that has happened to you this year? And I know we're only in April. We're coming up on May. I know we're only 4 months in. But what's the best thing that has happened to you this year?
Oh, the best thing business wise or just in general?
In general. In general.
So I have crushed my first quarter profits. I think I either doubled or tripled them from last year.
Fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What about you, Akesha?
I'm thinking. What month are we in? We're in April. Um, I am in the store and I keep getting reorders for that, so that's been awesome. Um, I have a bucket list trip planned for November. Me and my family we're going to South Africa. So even though that hasn't it's paid for now, but it doesn't happen until November. So that's really exciting. So but yeah. And I have one of my larger events. I was accepted into that again. So the Linganore Wine Festival. So I'm looking forward to that again. So yeah. So
When is
You done
that?
gave me
You
a
should
reason
come
to
and
go to
you should
Lignor.
come in and support. When is that?
Yes, absolutely. You need to go
oh,
ahead and
awesome.
put that
That
information in the
is
chat.
Oh, I sure enough will. I'll do that
Yeah,
now.
put that
I
information
like
in the
wine
chat.
festivals.
Yes,
Oh,
make a trip of it. I love it.
sounds good to
And
me.
so you just went into the last question I was going to ask is what upcoming life event are you excited about? You excited about this wine festival?
Got a 2 for 1.
Got a 2-for-1 response. Look at that. So you've already answered that, LaTonya. What about you? What are you excited about coming
So
up?
I will be participating in a wine festival, a smaller scale, but just the same. It's exciting for me because I'm getting out to larger vending events. So it's the Overflow Wine Festival. It's in St. Mary's County next month. Yep.
Put
So
that
this will be
information
my
in the chat
first
too.
Yes, I will.
Put that information in the chat. So, in terms of what's on deck, like what's coming up next, what can we expect from Myaa, Akesha, and LaTonya? What's coming up next? And I mean, you don't got to tell it all, but in the next, I'll help you with the time frame. What can we expect from you within the next 6 months? What new and exciting thing will you be planning for your business?
I'll be at the Maple Lawn Farmers Market this summer again, which is exciting. My second year. I probably more custom work. I've been getting a lot of. You've done a custom order. I've been getting a lot of custom orders lately for weddings, as small gifts for things. So I feel like that's just going to ramp up. I've
Can I
really
do a
enjoyed.
quick plug? Can I do a quick plug for that?
Yes.
So for my 50th birthday, okay, my 50th birthday, I wanted to give a gift to my guests, my party guests. It was a small party, COVID, whatever. But it was small. It was a small list. But I wanted to give something that when people used it, it'd be like, oh my God, this is so Ayanna. So I asked Myaa to create a custom candle, and it is called Vintage 1971.
Oh,
Let me explain something to you. The Vintage 1971, in conjunction with the sandalwood from Sugarfoot, caused a ruckus. People were asking me, what is that? What is that scent? What is that? Because the two of them mesh and meld so lovely together. It was just amazing. So I encourage people, please reach out to Myaa to get a custom candle made if you were having an event, because
Okay.
her nose is just amazing. She is a scent sorceress, the way she could put things together. It's just
It's
amazing.
the
So I
baking
just had,
nose.
yeah, I had to plug that. I had to talk about that because I'm a witness. It's
And that
all
scent
types of
is
madness.
now my cozy scent that's in the spring line. That's the cozy scent. It's the same one that for your vintage 1971. I loved it so much that I was like, oh no, this goes in the rotation of things I'm selling now.
Yay! What about you, Akesha?
Um, I am currently working on some new designs, especially for my earrings. So I haven't figured it out yet. So right now I'm doing testing and trying to figure out what I like. And, I did say I was going to post soon on IG and try to make a fun. So we'll see about that. Of course, I have the several shows that are coming up. Another good one is called which I love the name. It's called the Black Ass Flea Market. And
I love it.
I love the name. I love the name.
I
So,
love it.
and that's May 7th. But I'm really trying to. I'm at a point where I'm really trying to figure out how I want to grow. I'm now getting requests to participate as a vendor as opposed to me, searching out vending opportunities. So I've got a lot going on in my head that I got to put out on paper and really try to figure out what my growth strategy is and what my next step is. So I don't have all the answers to that question quite yet. It's a work in progress.
Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, me next.
Yes,
Um,
ma'am.
so very similar to um what everybody else has said. I'm I'm also trying to figure out what my growth strategy is. Trying to manage scaling and expanding. So, um, on my list is to get into a boutique, maybe one or two to see how that goes. But for right now, I'm very happy with the growth and how fast I'm going with my Sugarfoot Experience boxes. It's becoming a thing. So I think I'm going to put a little bit more energy into that. Definitely some collaborations. I think Miles has given me an idea to give me a Miles favorite things box, because he is a lover of his mother's creations.
Yay.
It all started with him in the
Yay.
first place, and he's like, "Yeah, mommy, I love this, I love that." So that might be on the horizon. Definitely collaborating. Um, putting other things in the box to highlight other folks. So Maya, I will be reaching out. Yep. And Akesha, I definitely will be reaching out to you, because I didn't know that you were a graphic designer by trade.
Yes.
Yeah. So I need to talk to you like as soon as we get off this call.
Works
You
for
see,
me.
I'm telling you, like, and this is my hope. My hope is not only do I feature people with their own businesses and in different ways. So going forward, it may not necessarily be somebody who is a hybrid like we are. It might be someone who is just fully in their professional career, or they're just fully entrepreneur and um have a certain niche. But my goal is to always introduce different avenues of resources to folks, to make sure that there are people out there that you can reach out to. So there very well might be somebody right now either watching now or going to catch the replay or listen to it later on and be like, oh, I can contact Maya at Mermaid Noire and get a custom. Oh, I can contact LaTonya and maybe get a box put together. Oh, I can reach out to Akesha and get some stuff curated, because I know plenty of people who are out there in the public always looking for something original and new and different. And I like different things, and I like introducing people to the stuff that I find. It's part of, you know, being a maven, gathering all this information and then sharing it with everybody. I'm not selfish with anything. So whereas I could have been really selfish and just put on some diamond stud earrings and just called it a day, I was like, nope, they're gonna get all this fabulous today. They're gonna know all about this. You can't, it's not smell-o-vision, so you can't smell how delicious I smell right now. But you can see my beautiful candle that I'm burning.
Oh, nice.
And let me tell you, my whole house smells absolutely delicious. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up because we don't went beyond time, but it's okay. I love this conversation. I thank you again for joining me and really sharing some really great nuggets. I hope people were taking notes and taking um kind of taking some self inventory on what they can do, particularly if you are thinking about starting your business. Maybe it's something that you started a while ago and you kind of put it to the side because life got in the way, and that's understandable. It happens. But think about what brings you joy and what makes you happy. If you are in that corporate space, maybe you have to look at your corporate gig a little different. Maybe put it in the mind frame of it's your angel investor for your true dream job, which is your business on the side. Ladies, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for joining me. I hope you had a good time. For those of you who are watching and will eventually listen, I will be making the announcement for the Maven Conversations May edition. I have not quite confirmed my next speaker, but I hope she says yes, because I'm a fangirl. I'm not even gonna lie, and I'm honest. I fangirl over all my guests. Like this, I'm a fangirl. I'm not even gonna lie. So that's that. Anywho, anyway, I encourage everybody. Y'all know how this is gonna end. I encourage everybody to continue to live and not just exist, because existing is some shenanigans. It's some foolishness. It's a slippery slope to mediocrity, and we don't do none of that. I encourage you to live your life out loud, loud, audacious, bold, just outrageous all the time. Live your fullest life, because that is what is going to make you happy. And as Akesha said, if you don't find a way, make one. Okay, that's it. And that's all. I appreciate y'all for joining us, and y'all have a good night. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.